Good evening. Welcome to episode 4 of Moksha Talks. And today we've chosen to talk about breaking stereotypes in the marriage of true minds. In conversation with Dr. Nandini Bhowmik, um, many of you know her, at least in Kolkata, and I don't really think she needs an introduction, but I will still talk about her because I'm so intrinsically proud of who she is. An Indologist by profession, she has been an associate professor of HMM College, Dakshineswar, was a guest faculty department of Sanskrit, Jadavpur University. She's written and published 4 books. She's been a theatre artist for more than 20 years. Even a little while ago, she told me that she's going to be staging yet another production. And she has now catapulted to fame um, after she founded SHUBHAMASTU. And her unique method of priesthood is now considered the priesthood against discrimination and is also considered a social reform. The Bengali movie Brahma Jane Gopon Komoti is based on her life. I know her on a personal level. Her elder daughter, was my daughter's classmate in Modern High School. She herself is an ex-student of Modern High School, but she's years junior to me. The younger one, I've had the privilege of teaching. She's one of those never come second, never not been an all-rounder. She's one of those types and obviously a favorite, even though I couldn't show that in class. And they are wonderfully brought up daughters, excellent in their behavior, in their attitude, in the way they know how to conduct themselves, and I can only attribute it to the way they have been brought up by their parents. Excellent children. I'm extremely happy to have her on board for Moksha Talks. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Was waiting for a wedding month, so to speak. January is kind of half wedding and half not, which is something I'm going to ask her later on as we talk. But right now, I want to talk about a few other things which I've gathered with after I've researched her life, so to speak. Her growing up they've been very, very interesting. She had a very interesting grandmother, I have to say, because she said in one of her interviews that she taught her or gave her the correct books to read at the correct time. And she grew up reading those under the guidance of her grandmother, so she could rattle off Michael Madhusudan's poetry when she was a little girl, and that probably explains her diction. She said that she didn't even understand what the poem meant, but she could say it all. So I really do firmly believe that a lot of what we have become depends on the kind of people that we grew up with, and she obviously had a very, very strong grandmother influence at home. The grandmother also encouraged her mum to gather all the children in the neighborhood, and they would stage plays and they would do their functions and all of that with a lot of enthusiasm over the summer vacation. What a way to spend vacations. Nowadays, the children are all hooked onto their screens. They are far removed from the world that I'm describing. And again, this is probably how she took to the stage like a fish to water. So when I look at Nandini, and I didn't know anything about this. I've known her for more than 36 years, ever since our daughters went to school together. But I really didn't know a lot about her until she's become this household name thanks to Shubhamastu. But then I completely marvel at the way she has molded herself. She has broken stereotypes. She's got the courage to do things in the most pleasant way possible. I think that is what needs to be understood, that you don't have to be aggressive, that you don't have to fight with the world in order to do things. You can do it very quietly, very gracefully, very beautifully, and that's exactly what Nandini has done. Um, I was, like I said, I was senior to her in school, and when we were in school, we didn't have the 10 plus 2 format. So for us, in modern high school, Sanskrit was a compulsory elective. Third elective was a compulsory subject. Now that's a bit of an oxymoron. You call it an elective and then make it compulsory. And how we grumbled. And I came and told my father, who studies Sanskrit? My God, all those conjugations. Good. I am not even getting there. 200 marks of the Sanskrit paper we had to do. So this is one of the first things I need to ask you, Nandini. We had no choice. We had to study Sanskrit. You chose Sanskrit. Why?
That is $1 million question. First of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts over this beautiful talk show, Moksha Talks.
Thank you.
I actually don't know. I think it was genetic. I don't know. My grandfather was a professor of ancient Indian history
Yeah.
in PK College, Kontai. So maybe that tendency came to me genetically. But from the very beginning, from my childhood, it was my grandmother who always tried to induce into me good Bengali literature, good poems. All that those poems which had Totshama Shabdo. The words were taken from Sanskrit,
Sanskrit,
yeah. And that, uh, I found them mesmerizing. I don't know why.
I heard
don't
you
know
say
why.
in one of your interviews that you
Absolutely.
found Nora also like poetry.
yeah,
Now, please explain to me, how does that sound like poetry to you?
I don't know actually. It maybe the teachers were very good, but in class 7 when the declensions and the conjugations were there in the syllabus for us. Well, I found goosebumps. You know, I was so
Okay.
excited. I was so excited, and at that time, I was convinced that I would take up this subject for the rest of my life. So I can't actually tell you that what instigated me to take up the subject, but I knew that I would study this, and I took up the subject in class 11, 12. We had that +2 system of education. When
And you were the first batch of
we were the
plus two.
first batch,
That's right.
yeah, first Madhyamik batch in 76.
And if I have heard the interviews correctly and if I've read up correctly, there was no Sanskrit teacher to teach you.
Oh yes, there was. Miss Krishna Roy Mahashay was there.
Yeah.
But when the school authorities saw that there was only one student,
That's right. That's what I
naturally, they approached our headmistress, lovely Mrs. Wilson D. Rose. She was such a marvelous person. And she was told to request me to
change your subject.
to drop Sanskrit as my option subject. She called me up. And
you said you would rather change the school?
Absolutely. I came home and told my father that I have to change my school. And my mother said, oh, that's a very good news. Now you'll study at least a sensible subject. What will you do studying Sanskrit? You won't get any job. What will you land up with? But my father knew that I was rather... I had to study Sanskrit. I wouldn't opt for any other subject. So he went to different schools to find out which schools had Sanskrit as an optional subject. But within a few days, our headmistress, she called me up once more and said that
it's okay.
It's okay. You can carry on. Only thing, you have to promise that you'll study this subject only after your school days. And well,
yeah,
that's how. Yeah.
I know that you came first class first, and I don't want to talk about academic brilliance right now because that's what you've stood for. But you found a job almost immediately. Was it because the systems were very different then?
No, that
didn't
was
have
the system in that time, because net, set, and
all
all
that
these
hadn't happened.
things weren't there. The system was like that. It all depended upon your graduation and post graduation marks. And there was a very long interview, an oral one, which was very difficult, very difficult. All renowned Sanskrit scholars were there in
On
front
the
of
board.
me,
Okay.
and so many types of questions came running from this side and that side. Well, I stood first there also, so I got my job.
So, Dakshineswar was the college that you chose to teach in. That was by choice, or that
No, no, no.
was
I didn't have to choose because that was the first vacancy which was
okay?
available. They asked me, "Can you commute?"
Knowing you, you
I
must have
didn't.
said
I didn't
yeah.
think twice.
Um, Coming to your family, you've managed to impart the same kind of values to your daughters. I mean, I have seen them from very, very close quarters, so I think I'm in a position to say this. Now, what would you call this? Would you call it genetic? Would you call it the cooperation of the entire family? What is it that they grew up in a joint family? What do you think you attribute it to?
I think it's more important that the parents have to be very, very educated in the true sense of the term.
Correct.
Um,
And that doesn't come with
Not,
a degree.
no, no. Degree is nothing in that case. Uh, Human values have to be injected very subtly, and you have to be your best friend to your child.
Children.
Yeah, you have to be your best friend. And so most of the time I was absent from home due to my job. I made it a point, I was very sure upon this point, that the whole evening I'll spend with my children, no matter what happens. And because I knew my father did the same thing with me, and I felt so protected. And
Correct.
yeah, my grooming was all right. I think I learned to respect people. I learned to love people. He didn't spoil me. I was the only child in the family, but I learned to share. Nowadays children do not learn to
They
share.
don't.
uh, the parents have to have to give more attention to the grooming of the children. What series, what serials they are watching on TV, which apps they are consulting on phone. The parents have to be very conscious,
Vigilant. Yes, I agree.
very
I
conscious,
agree. Yeah.
because the time has changed. The time has changed very much. It is not like ours.
Absolutely. And the temptations are too high all around. Yes. Okay, now this foray into priesthood. I know how it started. It started with your elder daughter's wedding, and I was there for the wedding, so I have seen you in action. And I seriously thought it was like one off. You decided to get your daughter married, and because you're a Sanskrit expert, I didn't really think that you were going to take it to where you have taken it right now. So, what prompted you to become the priest in your daughter's wedding?
Uh, uh, that was, I thought it was my duty, that was my responsibility to take up this
Challenge?
position as a priest in my daughter's wedding. And I was very fortunate that my daughter's in-laws also, yeah,
Went with it.
they said yes. They didn't go for a traditional priest. They said, yeah, we trust you, please go on. So that was where it triggered in me that I should do it, because I had been teaching in a college for so many years. I have been very closely connected with the young generation from 18 onwards, 18 to 21, a very vital
Age.
time, yeah, very vital age. So I know their questions, their what their likes, their dislikes. I'm very much acquainted with this generation, and I have been brought up in a very open-minded way,
Household.
and my children also have been groomed similarly. So it would be very unfair if my daughter has to participate in a ceremony where she won't understand anything. So I found it my responsibility to do it. But at that time, I had no idea that I will carry this on and it will become sort of a reform in society.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kudos to you. If I may ask, why is music an integral part of all the weddings that you do?
When I was thinking seriously upon this point, uh, how can I make this ceremony more sensible and entertaining as well as spiritual? Three things I have to keep in mind, and the base will be Vedic literature.
Okay.
So it was not very easy, but I kept on experimenting. It struck me that Tagore songs has such lyrics which completely match with Vedic mantras. So why shouldn't I take help of Tagore songs?
Yes.
Rabindranath Thakur is a god for all Bengalis, Amader Thakur. So I began with Tagore songs. And it created a magic. Instead of giving mantras where there are three mantras, I'm chanting two mantras, and the third I'm
It's a
singing
song.
a song, which is saying the same thing. And music has a language of its own.
Correct.
And it creates an environment, a heavenly environment. The chanting of the mantras, the explanation in Bengali and Sanskrit, and then Ravindra Sangeet. The whole thing creates such a magical environment, which is at the same time entertaining, at the same time very heavenly. So it clicked. In the beginning, I just experimented, but now it is a compulsory thing that I take help of. Even in Durga Puja, Kali Puja. In Durga Puja, in those 5 days, we sing about 30 to 35 songs.
Songs. Yeah. Okay. I'll come to the puja part later. Um, I just want to know that this entire business of the priesthood is such a male dominated territory. How did you take your baby steps and now your giant strides into this formidable world?
People did not accept me at all in the beginning.
Yeah.
Not even in my family. Many family members in my elder daughter's marriage said after the ceremony that this is not a wedding ceremony at all. We are not satisfied at all. But when you do something with conviction and you believe that what you're doing is not wrong, then you can go on. You have to make up your mind. You have to ignore certain things. Otherwise, you can't move on.
No.
And hard work, honesty, dedication, if these are with you, practice, practice, and practice, no rest. Of course, you will succeed if you're determined.
Okay, I again have heard you speak about this in one of your interviews that you actually script every wedding.
Absolutely.
Does this come from your drama training that you must have? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and also because you don't want to fumble, you don't want to fluster, you don't want to go beyond the text, right? Okay.
We perform numerous rehearsals. each time.
Oh, well, it reminds me of your son-in-law who this is a story. When the elder daughter got married, and she apparently declared to them that there will be a rehearsal, and the son-in-law comments about this that I think I'm the only Nara who went to the Beltola twice. So yeah, I mean that's who she is. Now I have also heard you speak about this, that there were people who asked you whether you have a poite.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how dare you go and give BAs and stuff like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How did you handle this question?
Actually, our age-old tradition says that you have to be a Brahmin, a Dvija, a male one, to become a priest.
Priest, correct.
And if you go through the scriptures, you will find that there are certain qualities of a Brahmin which are very essential. And the scriptures say that you needn't be born to a Brahmin family. If you develop those qualities in you, then you will earn Brahminism. You will
Brahminism.
become a Brahmin. And a person born to a Brahmin family, if he or she doesn't have those qualities, he is not a Brahmin anymore.
Correct.
So,
Despite the poite.
yeah. Nowadays, Shubhamastu never goes into priesthood for Upanayan ceremonies. Because nowadays, when in the past, when Upanayan ceremonies began, it was a very noble idea that an adolescent boy
Is being initiated.
absolutely.
Correct.
He is taught how
To be a Brahmin.
control himself amidst all this lust and so much greed there is around. But nowadays, what happens? Nowadays, the ceremony goes on. The child doesn't understand anything. And the end of the day, in the evening, there's a huge party. He gets numerous gifts. And the next day, he shows his gifts to his friends in school. That is poite, that is upanayan.
Correct.
I think that is very harmful. Because this young boy is taught that he belongs to a higher category other than his friends.
Correct.
Who do not belong to a Brahmin family. I think that is a very
So
harmful
this is
thing.
classism, and that is really not required anymore.
Shubhamastu always speaks against all this, because discrimination makes our society
What it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I couldn't agree more. Now, there are a couple of other questions too, but before that, Poshmash was not considered an auspicious month for a wedding, but I know for a fact that you have been giving or performing during Poshmash. Now, what is this? Why did you decide that Poshmash was just as good as any other mash and you can carry on?
Yeah. Actually, I've been talking too much for the last 15 years in different blogs, in television, in the media, everywhere. So, I have got the opportunity, like today, to share my thoughts, to share my views. I strongly believe that a day, a month can never be inauspicious. The sun is rising, the nature is with us, and nature never does any discrimination. When we see a rainbow, you can see all the colors blended so beautifully. No one color you can see with outshines.
Correct.
When
Correct.
a lotus is in full bloom, all the petals are arranged beautifully, and not one petal you can find which outshines. They are together, they are harmonious. That is nature. And we human beings, why will we disintegrate? Why will we discriminate? Why will we stay in watertight compartments in respect to religion, caste, gender? creed, and whatnot. Even economic and political status
Correct.
divides us a lot.
So, do you think this business of Poshmash being considered inauspicious has any other reason?
Oh, yes. A very logical one, which, according to my analysis, uh, agriculture and animal husbandry was the main source of livelihood in those days.
Correct.
And Posh March is such a month where the agricultural produce is very, very important in all respect, from day one to the last day of Shankranti. Yeah. So the farmers, most of these families, they are into farming, and they have to concentrate on that huge agricultural produce which will provide them for the rest of the year. During that time, if a child gets married in a family, they will get distracted. So I think they came to a decision that in Poshmash, we won't go for any marriage in wedding ceremonies in our families. Let us concentrate on the produce.
So, it's a social and an economic reason.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because Poshmash is a lovely month.
What about Chaitramash then?
Chaitramash maybe after the winter and after the spring also, the summer sets in. But in that time also, an agricultural produce comes over after Poshmash. In Chaitra also.
Harvesting time.
Yeah, harvesting time.
So, pretty much the same reason.
I think so. It depends on the nature and depends on the produce. It depends on economic condition of the farmers. I think so.
I have seen many people get married and Shubhamastu, performing the ceremony. What personally I like the most is that the bride and the groom understand what they are saying,
Yeah.
because you translate everything, and B, that the woman has a voice. She's not a passive listener. Whatever is being done to her, she's just accepting it. There is this business of I do in whichever language you choose to say this in, or I choose to do this, or I accept it, or whatever. So, is this part of your education or your whatever it is that you've learned from life, that you wanted to empower women and you wanted them to give them a voice?
Oh, yes, very much so. Actually, in the Vedic age, women had a voice. They were adult when they got married. They had even a chance to choose whom they'll marry. After that, a very dark age came, we all know, when little girls were married off. Very little girls at the age of 5, 7, 8, 9.
9.
Yeah. And the fathers were called Konnadai Grostopita. So, and with no education. Education was not there for the ladies, for the girls, young girls. Just because of that, a little girl has to get married and she has to put garland around her husband's, the groom's neck. Her height is so small and the person standing in front of her is very tall, so she is taken up on a piri and she is made to go around the groom 7 times and put the garland around the groom's neck, and that is all. She is married. After this sindoor is put, a huge veil is put to cover up her face because she belongs to a male person, and for the rest of her life, she may be called Ashurjam Pasha also. See,
What does that mean?
She won't be able to see the sun anymore as long as she is alive. Ashurjam Pasha.
Why?
Yeah. That means she can't come out of the house, out of the rooms.
Oh. Okay. So that's the level of oppression.
Yeah, yeah. So all the mantras, and not only the mantras, the way the traditional wedding system went, it only concentrated on the male, the groom. He says everything, he does everything, and he only helps this little girl along with him. He helps her to go around the fire. He helps her to put the koi into the fire. He helps her in everything because number one, she is very little in age, and number two, she's not educated. So, an uneducated person, how will she chant anything? Or how will she understand anything? The society did not bother to think about this. Now come to this time. All the ladies who are getting married, they are of age, they are well educated, most of them are in jobs. They have the right to
To know.
understand everything, and they have the right to participate equally along with their husbands in each and every ritual. So that is the main thing which I have planned from the very beginning when I started writing the script on wedding, that I have to give this opportunity to the bride to get equal participation in the wedding ceremony.
What are the things that you have deleted? I know Konnadan is one.
Naturally,
So
we
there
don't
is no
need it.
Konnadai Grusthupita anymore. Wonderful. Okay. So apart from that?
Apart from that, yeah, we have one ritual called Pani Grohan. The boy takes the hand of the
Right.
girl, yeah, the bride, and there are certain mantras which are not very
Flattering to the
yeah, not very honorable for the girl. Uh, they say that the girl is really getting married just to bear a male child in the family, and so from head to foot, her whole body has to be purified by mantra. Because why? Because she is going to bear a child of this family. It is,
Male patriarchy.
oh my God.
Yeah.
I use these mantras. I use panigrahan. I use this purification of body mantra. But both of them say, both of them sit together and get purified. Why? Because they're getting married. It is like a worship, it is like a puja this evening for them. And so, in the beginning of the ceremony, like in every puja, we do a shankalpo. I make them utter a shankalpa mantra also, so that they concentrate, pay attention to whatever is being done, whatever is being said throughout the ceremony. The ceremony takes about 1 hour, hardly a little more than 1 hour. We have made it very short, very sensible, crisp, entertaining, and spiritual, of course. So, we have done away with all these all these
Meaningless
things
rituals.
which are nonsense in this time, absolute nonsense. And we have added something also. At the end of the ceremony, after the about sindoor, I have to say also. The sindoor is also symbolic to me, and that is done both ways. Because India has a very big tradition of using tilak for the male members of high societies. Even the pandits in every temple, you see, they use tilak, yeah, tika. I have taken that opportunity. First, the bride takes a pinch of sindoor and puts a welcome tika on her husband's forehead, and then her husband similarly takes a pinch of sindoor and puts the same tika on his bride's hair parting and forehead, and that's all. It is also symbolic, and I always say that the mantra is very deep. At that time, the mantra says, "When I'm happy, you be with me. And when I'm very sad, you have to be with me. Listen to my words with care and love. May our bond of love be eternal." And a Tagore song follows, and you can't imagine, in so many ceremonies, I have seen people
Cry.
in tears after this. After the Sindoor portion is done, I call upon the stage the parents of the bride and groom. They come up with handful of flowers, flower petals, and they have blessing mantras. They bless their children, and the children in return also say to their parents on this auspicious time that we promise to take care of you all with joy and respect. That is Indian tradition. So there was a strong belief in our young days also that mothers should not see their daughters or sons' wedding. To go against this very wrong belief,
You brought them on the stage.
I have brought them on the stage so that they sit in front of me and watch the whole ceremony.
Now, I understand that where all of this comes from, but I've also seen there's a very high level of aesthetics in the weddings that you do.
Yes.
I've seen the way you do your Shaptapudi.
Yes.
I've seen the way you, everything. I mean, it kind of
A
has,
lot of care is
a lot of-
taken.
yeah. So that is just your sensibility, just your...
Because I'm a theatre person. Actually, yes, the stage is my place of worship.
Yeah.
So I'm very meticulous in everything. I love to paint. I love to give alpona. I love to sing. I love to dance, and all those things I've brought into my priesthood activities. And I have tried my best to take priesthood to an art form. Where we dress up very beautifully.
All four of you in the same colors.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And in the Bengali way, I've seen you do that. Yeah.
That is another obsession in me. I love to be a Bengali, and I'm proud to be a Bengali. I love to speak Bengali. I love to write in Bengali. I love to dress up like a Bengali. So many people make fun of me that it is my obsession, but I can't. I can't get rid of that. Yeah. So we dress up in that Bengali way. And nowadays we not only use Tagore songs, we use Pancho Kabir Gan,
Okay.
Nojrul, Otul Prasad, Rajanikanto, D.L. Rai.
And you found happy songs for all of them?
Oh yes,
From all of them?
so beautiful songs, especially
No,
the
meaningful, yes, but happy.
in
But in my head, Otul Prasad
like,
is a little sad.
yeah, we use those things in Paralokik, Batshurik, not in weddings. Like in Durga Puja, when we begin with the Shandhi Pujo, we use Nosrul Giti, Elo Elo Re Oi Ranorangini Chandi.
That would have been my next question. So this, from weddings, you entered the world of Pujo.
No.
Or did you do Pujo before?
No. We promised to concentrate only on social ceremonies.
Okay.
After weddings, we began with Shraddh ceremonies. Paralokik Shraddha Gyapon, we said. And the year after, Batshurik, we call Bengalis, Batshurik Onushthan, which is held 1 year after the demise of a person. We concentrated on that also. We concentrated on Annoprashan and Grihopravesh. We only rejected Upanayan. And all these scripts absolutely do not have any similarity with the traditional method of priesthood in those ceremonies. In Shraddh ceremonies, we have no Pindodan, no Dan, in fact, because
May I interrupt you for 1 minute? So, is for a wedding you will not have the in the morning that usually happens?
oh, Nandimukh.
Nanimuk or Nidhi Pujo?
Nandimukh.
You wouldn't have that.
No. I always request my clients that Nandimukh is nothing but a prayer to your departed ancestors.
Exactly. Yeah.
It will take you 15 minutes. Sit in your Thakur Ghar or in a corner of your room with other members of the family. If you have photographs, give garlands on the photographs, offer some sweets, light a candle, a pradeep, meditate, and say to your departed ancestors that this child of this family is getting married to them, getting married today. Please bless. Please bless. That is all. You don't need a priest for it. Because you have spoken to your ancestors in Bengali throughout your life. Suddenly, after their death, why will you speak in Sanskrit?
Yeah, we are assuming that in wherever they are, they've probably learnt that extremely difficult language, Noro, Noro, Nora.
That is very illogical.
I know. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
You sing a song, say in Bengali, in your mother tongue. And that's all. It'll take you 15 to 20 minutes. You don't need a priest for it.
You just said a little while ago that you've stopped Pindodan.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Actually, any dan at that time was inserted into the ritual in a very big way because
The priest had to get
Brahmins did not have any other source of income. So,
okay.
all types of grocery, vegetables, fruits, clothing.
I'm a wedding planner and I know what that's all about. 5 kinds of vegetables, 5 kinds of fruits, and I've done that on countless occasions.
You don't need it.
Yeah, I
because
get it now.
Because now when Shubhamastu goes to officiate any such ceremony, Shraddh ceremony, we 4 ladies. We don't need vegetables and cereals. Why should we?
Yeah, we have our Mashkawari Bajar at home. Correct. Yeah.
We have something to give and something to offer. Something to make people understand. Just give us 1 hour. We try to make our all our ceremonies shortened to 1 hour because people don't have that. People are very impatient now. Yeah. So we try to make our ceremony.
The concentration span is also becoming lesser and lesser. That is true.
Not only among children, among adults also.
I think
even people of our age, they keep on going through their mobile phone when a certain very serious thing is going on. And at times I have to say also, I have to announce because I have the microphone always with me. So I have to announce.
I think a lot of us would have tested ADHD if it were done on us, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Absolutely.
So you were talking about the puja.
Yeah. In Shraddh ceremonies, it is only about the scriptures. As a person has departed from this world, what does our scriptures say? Our scriptures never become sorrowful. It is always anandam. They try to profess anandam. You have to be happy. You have to come out of this grief. And that is what is taught in all our scriptures. So we do just that. We pick and choose the right portions and we translate them in Bengali, try to insert similar songs, and try to make the people, the bereaved family members, a bit happier, so that they can understand that death is not not
The end.
something which is you'll find that everything is finished. No, life will go on. Life has to go on.
Nandini, how about, okay, I understand where all of this comes from, but then we are actually addressing, hopefully, an educated section of the society who perhaps will understand, appreciate, gain from, etc. Do you, when you think about the future, do you ever think that this is going to reach the masses, people who do not have this
Um,
education? Because
I
they will stick to their rituals and they will stick to, all of that. So, I mean, at a personal level, my driver the other day was extremely annoyed with me because uh, one friend has lost her mom, and they didn't have a traditional shraddho, and he actually questioned me, and I tried for a while to explain,
yeah.
and I saw that I wasn't going anywhere with it.
It is very natural, and
Huh.
I have been fighting against this
For a long time,
for a long
yeah.
time. But one thing, I'm very hopeful, because you can say 30 to 40% of the calls that I get are from Rishraj, Srirampur, Konnagar, Birati, Modhomgram, Barashat.
Okay, so
Yeah.
not urban Kolkata. Okay.
Absolutely. Many calls come from NRIs, because we have English version of everything what we do. That is very important. But these calls give me a lot of hope. Like day after tomorrow only,
You're going to
I'm going
Konnagar.
to Konnagar.
Yeah.
Yes,
But then when you mention these small towns, we are not necessarily talking about the uneducated. We might be talking about people.
they are very cultured.
Yeah,
They are
that's what I'm
very
saying. So
cultured.
we are,
Yes.
my question was about reaching people who do not, literally who do not have the Ganeralo. It hasn't touched them.
Actually, because of the internet services, I have gone to very remote areas for my theatrical presentations also, and for my priesthood activities. Um, YouTube searching and YouTube surfing is very common among all the women class who in the evening only watch serials. They also indulge in this YouTube surfing, where uh, they follow each and every lecture or motivational talk that is given on YouTube, my talks.
So there is hope.
Absolutely. Wherever I go, where I'm traveling on the train, and a lady, very, very, belongs to a very middle class family. She suddenly came up to me, introduced herself. She had certain personal problems relating to religion and all this, taboos. She wanted an answer from me, and I explained it to her, and she was so happy. All this makes me very hopeful that you are not impure during your period days at the end of the day. No. You can offer your anjali, you can do your puja. Uh, all the work that we do is worship. Work is worship. If
But that
I
can only happen with a certain degree of enlightenment.
Absolutely, but the stone is rolling.
Yeah, yeah, which is a hopeful sign.
Absolutely. Uh, Otherwise, such a film wouldn't have been made.
That's true. Correct.
And the film was made with mainly with this issue, and that created a lot of change. Yeah, wherever I had gone in the villages, remote areas, people referred to the film, and that helped my work also.
Correct. Of course, they have a reference point.
Absolutely.
Did you face a similar kind of barrier wall when you went in to do Durga Pujo, Kali Pujo, etc.?
I can only say that the film was mainly the idea of male persons, Oritro, Shibu. They are not ladies. Cheshottipolli asked me to do Durga Puja for the first time.
Correct.
Pradyumna, he was a gentleman. So I'm indebted to them. That many male persons have helped and supported this
Cause.
this cause. And of course, even today, many so-called priests, male priests, they are absolutely against my doing
Doing the
idol
puja.
worship. They were mum when I'm into the wedding ceremonies or Annaprashan Griha Pravesh. They didn't utter a word. Once I went into the area of idol worship, trolling was far more. But and now I'm in such a position that I do not look backwards. I should not look backwards.
No.
Otherwise, I won't be able to move forward.
Correct.
I'm very conscious of that. I have to move forward with a focus. And if I stop, 16 Shubhamastu priests will stop. So they have to go on. I'm continuously training up young girls who will carry the baton.
The legacy.
Absolutely. So that the work goes on.
Yes. Of course.
It
It
is
can't stop with you,
It
of
is a
course.
very difficult work. It's a very, very difficult work.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Well, thank you, Nandini. This was a most fascinating
Another thing I'll
session.
say.
Yeah, sure.
This is very important. We are a charitable trust.
Okay.
Shubhamastu spends 3 to 4 lakhs that is earned through priesthood activities for social cause.
Wonderful.
That also has made a very good mark. We have people nowadays do not respect priests. If you see the Bengali movies, you can find Thakur Moshai, Purohit Moshai, a comic character.
Like a caricature. Correct.
So if you have to bring back that glory, that honor that a priest should have, then you have to do something extra. You have to serve the society. You have to love everybody. We always speak of Satyam Shivam Sundaram. And Sundaram comes only when there is universal love without any discrimination. And if you love everybody, you have to share. So Shubhamastu shares a lot.
Yeah, because with the Thakur Mashis nowadays, it's also about mullo dure diye dawa. So the fact that you can buy your way out of
who
things.
are you buying? The gods and goddesses.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Thakur Mashai, আজকে এই ফলটা পাওয়া গেল না. What should we offer? Thakur Mashai said, okay, give some money in lieu of that fruit. Who are you bribing?
Yeah. The entire methodology is wrong.
The understanding is wrong, absolutely wrong. People have to rethink. And from our side, there is failure. You have to accept failure if failure comes, and you have to restart. There is no question of stopping.
Well, to say that you're an inspiration is putting it very mildly, I think. And I don't know whether people have questions, because if you do, we'd be happy to take them.
তা আপনারা এই যে বিয়ের প্রথাটা যেটা করেছেন, সেটার মধ্যে কি ব্রাহ্ম ধর্ম বা খ্রিস্টান ধর্মর কোনো প্রভাব পড়েছে? সেটা আপনার যে বিয়েগুলো, আমি বিবাহগুলো দেখেছি, সেগুলোতে আমার মনে হয়েছে এই ধর্মগুলো থেকে অনেক কিছু মানে একসঙ্গে করা হয়েছে বা সংকলন করা হয়েছে, ইন্টিগ্রেট করা হয়েছে। তা এইটাই জানতে চাই।
না, কনসিয়াসলি করিনি। I had been very meticulously researching upon the wedding ceremony areas that are there in the Vedic literature. Incidentally, Brahmo Dharma also is based on the Vedic literature. So ওইখানে মিলটা এসে গেছে। And in Brahmo Dharma also everything is explained very well, and they also sing songs. So it is just a similarity. And regarding Christianity, I should only say that ultimately all religions speak of the same thing.
Same thing.
They speak of human values and humanity. What is good for us. সেই জন্যই বোধহয় মিলগুলো এসে যাচ্ছে।
And I guess there's also an element of respect for one another as a bride and a
Absolutely.
groom. That respect factor.
I have a mantra of respect.
For the respect.
Yeah.
Okay.
They say to each other.
আপনার একটা কথায় আমার একটু জাস্ট একটা অবজারভেশন করতে ইচ্ছে হচ্ছে, সেটা হচ্ছে যে আমরা ডিসকাস করছিলাম, আপনার কাছে শুনলাম যে কোনো কোনো মাসে বাংলা ক্যালেন্ডারের কিছু কিছু মাসে আমরা বিয়ে অনুষ্ঠান হয় না, অনুষ্ঠিত হয় না। এখানে আমার একটা কথা মনে হলো এবং আমি শুনেওছি এটা, যেসব মাসে লক্ষ্মী পুজো হয় রাদার, যখন ওই হারভেস্টটা হয় সেই সব মাসে বিয়ে হয় না। কারণ আমরা মনে করি যে আমরা বাড়ির লক্ষ্মীকে, যে কন্যাটিকে বিবাহ দেয়া হচ্ছে সে বাড়ির লক্ষ্মী, এবং তাকে ওই মাসে আমরা বাড়ি থেকে বিদায় করতে চাই না। তো এই কারণে হয়তো যেসব মাসে ধরুন ভাদ্র, কার্তিক, পৌষ এবং চৈত্র, এই 4টি মাসে যখন লক্ষ্মী পুজো হয় আমাদের বাংলায়, সেই মাসগুলোতে খুব সম্ভবত সেই কারণেও বিবাহ অনুষ্ঠান হয় না।
And what are those 4 Lokhi Pujos called?
Bhadra Lokhi, Posh Lokhi,
There are various
Yeah.
ways of these
of worshipping these, and it is always connected with the harvest. So a very, very nice analysis. Yeah, very nice analysis.
And do the Lokhis look the same, all of them?
No, in many of the cases it is not an idol.
Oh.
At a pot hoy onek
Ha, ha,
shomoy,
ha.
and dhane chhora,
ছাপি,
Yeah.
ছাপি ফুল
all produces from nature.
So again
Leaves
the,
and flowers and cereals, these are brought together and worshipped.
this is very Greek. Like in Greek mythology also we have all of this.
But
Yeah,
ancient
the gods,
Indian,
yeah. It's amazing how civilization.
ancient Indian culture was only this.
থ্যাংক ইউ নন্দিনী। কিরম একটা মনে হলো অন্ধকার থেকে একটা উৎসারিত আলোর মতন তুমি এসে অনেক কিছু আমাদের দেখালে, শোনালে, শেখালে। তোমার এই প্রচেষ্টা, for lack of a better word, I hope that you will be able to continue. I hope that
you.
you'll be able to prosper even further. I hope Shubhamastu a very, very long life, and I wish you all the very, very best. Karan, I very firmly believe that you need one person to start. You need one person with conviction to be able to convey to the others that, okay, we were doing things which were not right, and now we need to set them right. And I think you are on that path already. I feel very proud, and I feel really privileged that I've known you for so long, though I really didn't know what you were capable of, and that you were doing 1,000 things at the same time, that you've also managed to get your thesis done after having given up your job. I absolutely had no idea, and I'm filled with awe, and I'm filled with a sense of admiration that being a woman, you've been able to achieve so much. I did not say being a woman in any manner to make women sound weaker. I am saying that we have a harder battle to fight, and because we are Indian women, because we are conditioned to so many things, we have many roles to play within the circuit of our lives. And in spite of all that, you seem to have broken all boundaries and achieved so much. I am so proud of you. May Shubhamastu live long. May you carry on with this legacy.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so much.
much.